Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, man. KR, over to you.
Okay. Yeah, so in case some of my talk doesn't make too much sense, forgive me. Slightly sleep deprived. Yeah, so my 4 weeks ago when we started this cohort, my idea was to build something that I would use personally because yeah, I just wanted to kind of get my hands dirty again. Yeah, I think I'll do what Prakhar did, start with a little bit of my background. In sort of my first career, I was in tech, so software development, product management, but then I switched away from all of that about 6 years ago and went into consulting, so sort of business consulting. Very, very different, which means I haven't really coded in a while. So it was nice to just test out what's out there nowadays, how easy it can be or how overwhelming it can be with all the various tools. So yeah, so I was doing that, but it was really nice to kind of just try stuff again and mess around on the terminal and get stuck in various Git commands that don't make sense to me. So yeah, so my sort of where I started off was I live in Germany. There's a language here that's spoken called German, which makes no sense to most of the world. But for some reason, these people continue to speak it. Which means a lot of people who come here struggle with the language, including me. But I have learned the language a little bit. The biggest challenge I've found here is basically practicing without judgment. So yeah, so I thought I'd just build something that gives me feedback. So something I can just talk to without that person either scowling at me or switching to English and saying this is more efficient or just laughing at me, right? So AI does that, thankfully. And that's what I kind of wanted to build. So talk for a bit, get feedback, and improve my German skills. Funny enough, I started developing this 3 weeks ago, but I done basically 3 sessions. But a week ago, my wife sent me a link about, hey, isn't this something that you are working on? And a full-fledged app doing exactly the same thing. And a guy charging €20 a month for it. So yeah, the market is out there. Anyway, so my journey was 2-3 sessions of this, put together various screens, but basically it's a web app. I will do a demo first, and then we can walk through how I kind of worked on it. So I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. Okay, so we have, so hopefully you see the screen. I don't see the Google Chat anymore, so just let me know if you see it.
We see it, yeah.
Okay, super. So this is I've called it Talkwerk, but basically fairly simple app. I added auth yesterday, so I'm glad it's working. But basically, it's I'm guessing this is that purple you were talking about, Prakhar. I spent 0 time on UI, to be honest. So let's see. It doesn't look as slick. So there's a sort of landing page. You can sign in. That should work. It goes into a dashboard. A lot of it is in German, but I still want to change that. But let's see. So there's basically one mode to this. I'm created a very, very simple MVP. So there is one mode where I can talk and I get feedback, right? So I start here. I hit the microphone button, and then I'll speak German for 15 seconds so you guys actually see what it looks like. But basically this says, practice your free talking. And it says a couple of helper text that says, yeah, talk about any topic that you'd like. And this box says it'll give you a live transcript, so click the microphone to start. So here we go. Hallo Morgan, hier ist 6 Uhr morgens und ich hätte gerne einen Kaffee. Okay, so really short. Stop the recording. It's generating feedback using a bunch of different AI models. And yeah, and this is my feedback screen where it first says, yeah, good work, you're practicing, so little encouraging statements, and then sort of an overview summary of AI generated stuff, right? So yeah, it says good basic communication skills, sentence structure straightforward, minor grammatical nuances to refine. So strengths, clear and direct communication about wanting coffee, good speaking rate, etc. And here are some sort of feedback improvement areas. So this is like basic, middle, and advanced. It is too short to really give too much feedback, but yeah, but this is the idea. So basic feedback is like a better greeting and some grammatical corrections, right? So yeah, actually that is super valid. And then it gives you some recommendations on how to really improve your grammar and vocabulary based on the feedback that is given. So that's about what I've done so far. You can then practice again or go back to the dashboard. And basically on the dashboard, what I want to do is add, I think the next thing I want to do is add sort of a streak, basically a streak thing like Duolingo to kind of gamify it a little bit. And then add different modes. Basically, instead of just free speech, also sort of suggest a theme or a topic to talk about, or just like for more basic, for guys who are very new to the language, then really put up a text and say, okay, read from the text and let's look at your pronunciation and so on. So that's sort of it so far in terms of what I've been doing. And sorry, go on.
No, nothing. This is awesome. Yeah, I mean, I was actually talking to a friend of mine recently about not exactly learning any new language, but mostly around the point you mentioned, right? How do you get non-judgmental feedback? And we were talking in the context of making presentations or just speaking at work, which a lot of people actually struggle with. But this is very, very interesting.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a use case that has sort of value. It's one of the most common things I hear from learners, just because everyone eventually then goes to a class where you pay 100 euros an hour to practice, and then you're sitting in a room with 10 other folks and you get like 10 minutes in an hour. So it's not particularly easy to really practice. But yeah, having said that, there's in terms of what I want to do, there's a lot still there, and I think there is value to continue this. So I'm glad I kind of started. I have sort of a base, but I think over the next weeks, when I find some time, I will kind of refine it. And for me, the main things on my to-do list are, I think, like I said, first the sort of gamification, the modes, but apart from that, generally making it a little neater. So nicer UI, sort of make it more, modern looking. But then there are some very, very core tech issues that I have, which are going to be a little harder to solve. So for instance, I mean, this demo worked perfectly, which is great, but it worked on Microsoft Edge because having issues with Chrome and the whole speech to text API that I'm using, and all the AIs now suggest that I use a paid Gemini, Microsoft, etc. API for that, which makes sense, but yeah, it basically it's not that simple to solve speech to text, as I've realized now, especially cross platform, cross browser, because I also use this on my phone, for example. So yeah, so there's a lot of stuff to be done, and then make it nicer, of course. In terms of I mean, yeah, I'll stop here if you guys want to kind of ask any questions, but then I would kind of look at how I built this.
Question to anyone? Like, are you using an STT model here, or like a normal LLM? About how you built that.
Sorry, what is STT?
Speech to text.
Okay, so two things. For the transcription, it's speech to text, so sort of a regular web API.
Okay.
I think he's frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the speech to text was real time, right? It was happening as we were speaking.
I don't think so. I think it's processing after.
Okay.
But you have a streaming API with which you can do it real time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing that he pointed out, yeah, credits. Is there somewhere like, are you working on getting us some credits from?
We can, like, so let me know what is that you want. At least I have some contacts I can ask around. I can try and get that out.
Yeah. That'll be very helpful. If we can get some credits around Gemini, all these models, right? Just to try out stuff.
Sure. I'll ask a few folks.
Yeah.
Kiara is joining back.
Yeah, sorry about that. You still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, super. So in terms of right, so I was saying the transcription is just a web API. The AI stuff is actually from like then I use the LLM, so OpenRouter, pass in basically the transcribed text, including all the ums and ahs, and I also include some metadata in terms of like what the not pronunciation is, but the, let's say, how many gaps there were in your speech, how many words per minute are you speaking, things like that. And then the AI generates some feedback based on that. So yeah, that works pretty well actually. Yeah, my next step then would be to not transcribe text anymore, rather send chunks of voice directly to a service, which Azure apparently has a really good focused on language learning API to do this. So that may be the right call for it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So my laptop turned off, but I can quickly talk you through the tech stack, or at least a couple of learnings from my side. So what I did was I had Windsurf already set up, so I used that as an IDE, but basically it's VS Code. I didn't use any of the AI stuff in there. What I did was I kind of wanted to set up a little bit for future projects. So I properly set up my GitHub. I set up Vercel deployment connected to my GitHub. Think I used Claude a lot, but recently, I think the last session I used Gemini more. It feels a little different. It feels like I talk to two different personalities. Claude is like, yeah, just do this. I'm right. You'll figure it out. And Gemini kind of walks me through it a little bit more, which I kind of appreciated. Yeah, and then it was basically a lot of copy pasting, a lot of kind of generating code from Claude and putting it together. I used V0 by Vercel for the UI initially, which actually came out really well. But then Claude overwrote everything at some point, and then I didn't bother changing it because I wanted to focus on the functionality. Maybe the last thing was this. I like having time constraints. I think it's really good to kind of have, okay, we need to deliver by tomorrow, finish something. But it also means I had to take like calls. So I had a basic version and I thought, okay, do I need to improve this first, make the feedback a little bit nicer, add more functionality to the sort of base functionality, or just leave it as it is, which is what I decided, and build the surrounding capabilities because I wanted to learn. For example, auth, database, session tracking, things like that are all things that I decided, okay, let me spend time doing this stuff. So appreciate the sort of the short nature of this session. Also works well with the busy life. But yeah, it was fun overall.
This is awesome. Yeah, fantastic. So, folks, if there are no other, oh yeah, Vijay, go ahead.
Hey, KR, are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Hey, hi. Yeah, great work on that. Some of those like basic level, medium, and advanced level was pretty good. I think I had worked on something similar, so this was a very good insight of having such kind of suggestions. One question I was having, like you said that you were able to also capture ums and ahs while you're talking. So I wanted to get understand how you did that because in STT, what I have understood is that it kind of removes such kind of filler words. So how are you including that is one question. Second is that do you also know about any ways to check the pronunciation? Because that would be important if you're learning a different language altogether, right? So Yeah. No, absolutely. I think the Azure API that I talked about, I haven't implemented that yet, but that does both of those things. It apparently
Okay.
has pronunciation sort of support in terms of how well you're pronouncing words. And you're right about the filler words removal. That kind of goes away with the transcription. So when you kind of
Yeah.
with the web API, it doesn't work at all. So yeah, I wrote the logic, well, Claude wrote the logic for that.
Oh,
But
okay.
in terms of capturing it, like a list of filler words, things like that. But it needs that next step of actually connecting to that Azure API to actually use it. So right now it doesn't track filler words.
Okay. I'll try out Azure. Thank you so much. Okay. Awesome. Super. Thanks a lot, KR.
Hi, KR. This is Ashwin here. I do have a question. So my question is like I saw the UI and it was in German language, and you initially talked about like a lot of people are moving to Germany and they
Mm-hmm.
want to learn German. And why would they want the words to be mentioned in German if they're finding it difficult to talk in German or read German? Like it can be any person, right? It can be a person from
Yeah,
Japan,
yeah.
India, or any person. So I was thinking about that. Do you have any pointers for that, or is just you made it in German language?
I actually started off with English, and I think I will change it back to English, but keep it really, really simple. You're right, though. I mean, it depends on your audience. If at some point you want to expand this to like all of the expats, then yeah, it makes sense to have yeah, Spanish and other languages as well. But I like the idea also of having like really simple German and a German language app. It or at least a German plus English something. It helps to kind of immerse a little bit, but also you don't want your users to be lost. So good space to A/B test a little bit for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But currently my plan is to go back to simple English sentences and a couple of sort of mm, especially in the feedback page, a couple of like great job and things like that in German.
Okay, okay. And I do have the next question. That is like, I was like, even in English or any part of the world you go, people don't want to stand out there because of their accent. It shows you like where you're from. Um, would that be part of these application, like the native German, how they are speaking? Can they match it? Is there a score that they could match up to so that they could understand where they stand in the line?
Oh, curious. I wonder actually. I don't know, but I wonder because I have to explore that Azure language learning thing that you're talking about. Maybe it has sort of a fluency or pronunciation score, but I don't know if it actually compares you to a native level. But that is very interesting. Yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
question.
yeah. Thank you.